Hi there. So we are live here in the movie library, and what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about the Psycho sequels. I actually sat down and watched all three of them last night, and two of them, two of the Psycho films, really do hold up. Hey, Adrian, welcome. First one here too. Hold up extremely well. You fan of Psycho? Hey, Danuch, I knew you'd make it, man. You guys are fan of the Psycho films? Nice. Welcome, Nethead. I am supposed to get mine tomorrow, actually. So, everybody knows the first Psycho film. It's a classic. Hey, Javed. With Hitchcock. I'm not talking about that one tonight. I'm actually talking about the sequels. I wanted to so I sat down last night. I watched Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4. Hey, Michelle, welcome. I'm going to say some controversial stuff. I'm going to talk about the Psycho films. Are you a fan? Well, the sequels of the films. Hey, Boredom. So, the original Psycho, it's a classic. There's something to be said there. Now, the Psycho 2 was done by Richard Franklin, and if you're not familiar with Richard Franklin, he's an Australian director. He made movies like Patrick, specifically Patrick. Yeah, Road Games. He was known his moniker was kind of like the Australian Hitchcock. So it made kind of sense when they kind of handpicked Richard Franklin to do Psycho 2. Now, Psycho 2 deals with Norman Bates pretty much after he got out. Ooh, that's controversial. Hey, Fry. After he gets out of jail and after he gets out of the asylum, he's reformed and he's starting his life over. Unfortunately, there are people that are around him that really don't want him to start his life over. Hey, Scholar. Uh, and honestly, this plays brilliantly. I'm going to say something kind of controversial here. I might like Psycho 2 as much, maybe better, but at least as much as the original film. I love the way that they characterize Norman. The cast all around him are utterly fantastic. Meg Tilly, she never gets enough kudos. She's amazing in this film. And just everybody that's in the film really, really stands the test of time. And they do a great job. Norman is written extremely well. And there's more depth to his character, obviously, in this one than there would be, hey, Kubrick, than there would be in the other films. Well, in the previous film, of course. Now, with that being said, I love Psycho 2. Let's get to Psycho 3. Psycho 3 was directed by Norman Bates himself, Anthony Perkins. He actually, unfortunately, found out that he had HIV at the time when they were when they were making the film. He was very excited about making the movie. He originally wanted to co-direct it alongside Richard Franklin, and Richard Franklin turned that down. Charles Edward Pogue wrote the script for Psycho 3, and he did an incredible job on the script. His initial script idea and ending was brilliant. Unfortunately, hey, welcome, Indy. That had to change. The studio, hey, Mark, the studio were extremely upset with the ending of Psycho 3. And they just they demanded one really important change. Actually, there was two important changes that was needed to get Psycho 3 going. One, oh no, Psycho 2 is actually much more serious, but it still has a bit of the humor that always has. One was that Norman Bates absolutely 110% had to be the killer. That's not even a spoiler at this point. And two, the reporter that was supposed to be like a much younger actress was changed because he casted Roberta Maxwell, who was not an old actress by any means, but older than what they originally intended the reporter to be. So how does that change things? Also, the character of Ian, ready? And the character of Marion, Maureen, what is his name? Maureen, I think, was originally intended to be a psychologist who kind of like follows like for Norman, and the character played by Jeff Fahey, who's Dwayne, Dwayne Duke. You can call me Duke. I will give you my thoughts on Bates Motel as well, both the TV series and the film. And he was supposed to be the killer. Hey, Cinema Dave. The idea was that Duke was supposed to be the killer when it came to Psycho 3. There's a few scenes that are left in there that kind of like look towards Duke as the killer. But they change up just a couple things so that you can have Norman as the killer again. Now, somebody just mentioned the hey, who said Christine? I'll go that Xtine. I really, really like the direction on Psycho 3. There is some incredible like shots done with the film. There's one sequence where Norman is in the hospital with I think her character's name is Maureen. So Maureen Coyle or something like that. So he's in the hospital with her right after she's tried to commit suicide, and he walks out of the hospital and rather than fade away or anything like that, hey Mike, it goes right into he walks right into his mother's room. Direction on this film is utterly fantastic, and certain performances really stand out. Bud Cort did play Harold Maude. That is correct. That's a movie I really like, by the way. Jeff Fahey really stands out in this film. He does an incredible job. He's up there with Anthony Perkins level in the film. He does a great job in the film. Unfortunately, and hey Ryan, it pains me to say this. They should have kept it the way Charles Edward Pogue wrote the script. Either that, or they should have done a completely new. Hey Das, a completely new script, because it's lacking. I like it. I like the fact that Brinke Stevens is in. I like that Cat Shea, body double. I like Cat Shea. But you can tell, even without knowing the behind the scenes of Psycho 3 and the changes that had to be made, you can tell when you're watching this film, changes were made. It's obvious. Watch. Hey, right on. Love that scene, actually. That's with Red. You can tell. I mean, anytime Jeff Fahey's on the screen, he's eating it up. I got the Scream Factory editions, but I think there's an Australian set out there as well. Just make sure that the commentaries are there, because the commentaries are really good for Psychos 2 and 3. Just to let you know, on the Scream Factory editions, they're really great commentaries for both of them. He should have been the killer. Jeff Fahey should have been the killer. Yeah, it is. I mean, DeNucci, it gets a little odd. I mean, like, the kiss thing almost seems like it may have been improvised. But because he was the director after all, and apparently Charles Edward Pogue said that Anthony Perkins was extremely. Yeah, it's based on a book by Robert Bloch. There was a Psycho 2 that was written, but it's not at all anything like the movies. There's a Psycho 2 is very different. than the book than the movie Psycho 2. And then there's a third one called Psycho House, actually. But there were parts of it that were good. The lead actress that played Maureen was okay. Although she's, a bigger name, Roberta Maxwell is completely unlikable to the point where I was really hoping Norman or, Duke would kind of kill her off. I haven't read that one before. Am I going to check that out? Thanks. I didn't know that existed. How did they do this? Oh yeah, it is kind of based on the Ed Gein. A lot of serial killers around that time were based on the old Ed Gein storyline. So I was disappointed with Psycho 3 this time around. This is what I normally like. Maybe it's the mood I was in. Maybe it was the setting. Maybe it's the fact that I do know the history of the film and that is entrenched in me. That it did frustrate me as I was going along, thinking that the setup was there. It was so well done. I was missing what could have been with Psycho 3. I was really, and if you don't know it and you go in and you just watch the film, I'm sure it's going to be just an entertaining film. But once you know it and you're watching it and you realize how much better that could have been, Duke was such a good character. I mean, like really a good character. He stood out. There aren't films withstand, like I can see why Jeff Fahey was like chosen for a lot of films afterwards. Unfortunately, he didn't go as far as I think that Hollywood thought he was going to. But the dude is good. Like he's really, really good. And he like, there's times when there's other people in the film that really are just dragging it down. Both female lead actresses in this film, like Meg Tilly was in the second film, and she's utterly fantastic. The leads in the third film, they just aren't. And that's coming from, I'm Canadian, and like this was, leads Canadian in this film. I want to be able to say great, fantastic things about her, but I really can't. And I don't know if it's her, or I don't know if it's the fact that her character is just not fully written, because they do this utter change. This is a character that's supposed to be a psychologist, and all of a sudden they got to change that because producers want to change in the script. So now she's an ex-nun that for some reason that we never find out about. She gives up. She doesn't believe in God. Her faith is shattered. It's tested. And you know what? We don't know why. We never find out why. There's a couple sequences with her speaking to a priest, and that's nice, but it doesn't really fill anything out. It almost seems like lip service. That's actually mentioned. I don't buy it though. I don't buy that as being the total and utter reason. If they could have fleshed it out a bit more, like I guess because there's a really evil seeming nun at the beginning of the film, and there's the comment when she talked to the priest about having like sexual desires, that I guess put two and two together type of thing. She was shamed by them rather than like being able to like explore her doubts. And I get that. I just don't think it came across well. Actually, I didn't get it enough, obviously, because you just told me. You did. Thank you. The actor that was in part 2. Which actor from part 2? But I was disappointed. Yeah, I know. And then she becomes suicidal again because she tries to kill herself. And I'm gonna get to the remake. Actually, I'm gonna do them in order. It does, but then it doesn't go anywhere with it. There's a lot of homages. There's homages throughout Psycho 3 for the original Psycho film and like other movies as well. Her character's like demise is very reminiscent of Arbogast death in the first film, and it still doesn't work for me. I always find the Abergast death, like, I know it's supposed to be stylistic, but I always found it kind of like silly. I'm sorry, I always have. Martin Balsam's death going down the stairs like that, it just never worked for me. It doesn't work in this film either. And as you guys know, you rarely hear me like get critical, like get really critical. I'm Canadian. I'm really polite. But that I did like. There's certain. That's the thing. This is what kills me. There are sparks of genius in this film. Anthony Perkins, great direction. Like, his direction is fantastic in the film. There's parts of the film that are great. Hey, horror boy, but stick with the original script or just do something completely different, because you mess with it, producers. You mess with it. You shouldn't have done that. Now I want a remake with Duke as the killer. I do. I kind of want that. Okay, Psycho 4: The Beginning by Mick Garris. Mick Garris is probably best known for, well, Masters of Horror and directing a lot of Stephen King stuff. I actually don't know. I don't know. Kubrick, that's a good question. I'd have to look it up. He probably did, and I probably don't know. But I'll be honest with you, I really don't know. Now, Psycho 4, I really did like. Psycho 4 was a Showtime movie, like was a TV, but like a hardcore TV one. Olivia Hussey's really good as Norman's mother. She stood out. Henry Thomas does like an understated role. Lucky Steve, hey, right on. It is very much like a giallo, but I still think Duke would have been better choice. Perkins, I could see that. Perkins didn't have his first experience with a girl. I think that was like 39, because I think Perkins was bisexual. Not that that matters to the film. It's just something that when I was looking up information on Perkins tonight. So Psycho 4 works really well. What works really well in Psycho 4 is, whereas I don't think we really got to showcase enough of Norman and his growth in Psycho 3, he seemed kind of stunted and doing like just going through the motions. In Psycho 4, he has he's really like, most of the time he's on the phone talking to C.H. Padner. And he's entrancing. Not yet, Rich. I'm getting up there. He is. He's utterly. You can see like the sparks, that genius that was in Psycho 2, is back in Psycho 4. Lucky Stiffs. People. I don't know if I've ever seen that film, but now I want to. It's great. I thought that was really well done. Now, people that have watched the series Bates Motel may find Psycho 4 to be a little maybe a little bit more stilted, or a little bit less. It takes its time and goes in a different direction. But for what they did with it, I think it was a great way to end off the Anthony Perkins era of Psycho. It ends off on a happier note than one would expect, but we get to dive in to Norman Bates' history, and I don't think it's done bad. I'll get to that as well. Now, after that, we're not getting Psycho the remake yet, because there's one more Psycho before that. In 1989, I think it was NBC put out a TV pilot for a series starring Bud Cort from Harold and Maude, and that was Bates Motel. Not the Bates Motel that you're familiar with that ran for 6 seasons with Vera Farmiga in it. But the original Bates Motel actually was a 2-hour-long pilot, and it was meant to be little things that they can get you if you know them. I'll get there. See, in the film, Norman Bates, for some reason, they forget Psycho 4, and Norman Bates dies in an asylum. Now, in the asylum, he has a roommate Obviously, the character of Anthony Perkins had passed away by this point. The actor Anthony Perkins had passed away by this point. So his friend in there is Bud Cort, who we thought of like a son. So after Anthony Perkins passes away, it's around the time that Bud Cort's character gets out of the asylum because he's cured. He finds out that Norman Bates has bequeathed through his will the Bates Motel and all its property to Bud Cort's character. Now, the idea behind Bates Motel was it was going to be done much along the lines of like some earlier popular like early 80s shows, much like Love Boat or Fantasy Island. More so Fantasy Island. The idea was that people would come to the Bates Motel, things would happen to them, whether it be kind of comical or supernatural, and they'd have their story and finish it and go on to the next story. Some probably like 2 or 3 stories per episode, like Fantasy Island, and it would work like that. Now the story Bates Motel, the pilot movie Bates Motel, basically does with two real stories that really kind of stand out. One is a girl that's visited by ghosts of like these young like high schoolers from the 1950s. One of them is played by Christina Hage from Head of the Class, which was a series back around that time. The other story is the Bud Cort story, and it's dealing with the fact that somebody is trying to like drive him insane again, scare him off basically to get the land. They're both pretty pedestrian stories. It's a fun little watch. It is a TV film, and it does look and seem like a TV film. This is not a showcase or an HBO type of thing. This is a network TV film, and it has all the trappings of a network TV film. It does have Bud Cort, though, who is incredibly well versed at playing these type of like quirky character roles. But I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that it never became a TV series. It is a nice little curio to watch, and it is usually fairly inexpensive. You can buy it on a Psycho 4-pack. I think that was put out a few years back. And it's a good way to get the 4th film, because I don't think we're going to see this coming on Blu-ray anytime in the near future. Unless the Australian one already had it there. Michelle, does the Australian one have Bates Motel as a Blu-ray? We followed that up with Psycho, the remake. Now, Gus Van Sant was a very big director. He still is, actually. But his idea was to take Psycho, specifically what he wanted was to take a film that was entrenched in the minds of audiences and was extremely well known with the actors and the characters and everything, across the board for what it was, and to remake that specific film, do it in an almost shot-by-shot basis, which it really doesn't, by the way. It goes close. It goes to shot for shot, not by the film though. Shot for shot, more by the script. So it deals with Joseph Stefano's script. Joseph Stefano was the writer of the original Psycho film, and of course the creator of Outer Limits. But it goes by Joseph Stefano's shooting script, and you can tell that there's an odd sequence where there's like this strange like thing put in there. I actually like Anne Heche. I'm a big fan of Anne Heche. I'm a soap opera fan from back in the day, and she used to be on Another World. So I already had like a love of Anne Heche going in. Vince Vaughn was extremely miscast in the role, and it's glaring. It's glaringly obvious. Whereas the other actors seem to do pretty well. Vince Vaughn, not that he's a bad actor, he's not. Vince Vaughn is actually a very good actor. It's just that he doesn't suit the film. Did I dislike the Psycho remake? Actually, no. I probably liked it better watching it this time than I liked it when I originally saw the film, because I had a strong hate on the Psycho remake for a long time, because how dare they remake a film that I liked? As I get older, I get over things like how dare they. Ed Norton's a great choice, actually, Rich. Yeah, okay, I could definitely say that. Bates Motel. Oh, he does. Oh, he really does. He's on the good. Was it the Good Doctor now? I think it's called, or something like that. But anyway, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the film. I did. I mean, like, It is, and Gus Van Sant's film doesn't change that. Psycho is still an excellent film, a wonderful black and white film done by Alfred Hitchcock. If you have the power and the money to pretty much make a big budget version of what should be a student film project, go for it. Buck the system. It didn't obviously it did not get the greatest reviews in that, but the commentary on it, with which is moderated by Rob Galuzza from Shockwaves and monthly on Just to This podcast. How come the tension and suspense wasn't there? Well, some people would say for Psycho, the tension and suspense wouldn't be there for a modern audience anyway. It's a different sensibility. But for me, that's one of the things that he wanted to do. That's one of the things that he wanted to see. Would it be there? Would the tension remain? Would the suspense be there? If you carbon copied something, can you do that? Is it going to have that same thing, or is it lightning in a bottle? Well, I think overall, Gus Van Sant answered the question that Psycho was a lightning in a bottle. The remake wasn't. It's an interesting, as a student of film, I find it an interesting concept. But it's not Psycho, not even close. But he's answered that question. That honestly probably should have been, the end of it. But no, more remakes and stuff than ever were made, but not so many shot-for-shot ones. But I think Gus Van Sant answered the question for us, and I think that's really good. Really neat for him to do. That would be very different. I mean, like, if you're going to go close to the Robert Bloch book, then you're going to get an actor like, back then, I guess Stephen Furst would be an actor, or maybe Jonah Hill would be someone that would be, if you go by the book. Because the Norman Bates in the book is very, very different, by the way, guys, from the Norman Bates in the film. A very different Chapman. Norman Bates in the book is a bit more of a psychosexual, perverted type of guy. He is chubby, he is bespectacled, and he's not nearly as likable. In fact, spoiler alert, Norman Bates dies in Psycho 2. And he's replaced by an actor in the book, because Psycho 2 is totally different. Psycho 2, Norman Bates escapes, and I'm not going to get into the things of his escape because there's a nun involved and it's a little grotesque, but they're making a film of pretty much a psycho and what happened in the first book, and people are being killed off on the film set. That's what Psycho 2 is about, the book. And at first they think it's Norman, but like late in the book, they discover Norman's dead body, that he actually crashed in the car and died. So it's not Norman that's doing the killings in Psycho 2, but you got to read the book to find out. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, Bates Motel. It ran 5 or 6 seasons, right? We all go a little mad sometimes. One of the great lines of all time. I liked Bates Motel. I really enjoyed Bates Motel. As a whole, concept from beginning to end, Bates Motel works excellently. When you watch Bates Motel, but that wasn't shot for shot though, so it was different, much different. For me, when I watched the first season of Bates Motel, I really enjoyed it. When I got into the second season, I didn't. And I will tell you right now why. Because at the time, as I'm watching the second season of Bates Motel, I'm actually very invested in the character Norman. And I think they pull that trigger way too fast on Norman kills. For those who haven't seen it, there's a character in the end of the first season that is murdered. Is left ambiguous to whether Norman did it or not. But we find out quickly in the second season that he did, and it'll get worse. Now, when you watch it, knowing this is a whole complete story, it's its own thing, and it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not the same in the same universe. You find it really quickly. It's not in the same universe as the original Psycho films. It's its own thing. It's its own deal. Keep watching after the third. After I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when they got waylaid with the whole like Twin Peaksian portion of it, right? When they tried to make it like, the town and like the mystique behind the town. Keep watching. It gets back on track. That's neat. There's neat little aspects of that, and there's certain portions of it that I liked and I didn't like. I agree with you on the town portion of it, but I ended up liking it in the end. I think you follow it through, it actually gets better, in my opinion, anyway. I love the fact there's a portion in Psycho 3 which I actually kind of dig. I'm glad it didn't, because Psycho Bates Motel tells its own story, and its ending's going to be very different from the original Psycho films and what it would go. It tells its own story. It does it uniquely, and I don't want it like I want it to be its own thing. I don't want it to intrude onto the films that I've already seen. I really do think that like as much as I like the I had fun with Bates Motel, the first like TV movie. Psycho 4, the beginning, actually is a really good ending to his journey. I thought it really was. Yeah, that I agree with. But overall, I enjoyed it. It's a fun watch. It's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, it's definitely not a prequel to Psycho. Not at all. I don't know if they like originally went in thinking it was going to be a prequel to Psycho, but like as if you've seen it all the way through, you definitely know it's not that. They changed a lot of things. They changed Marion Crane. Really changed Marion Crane in what happens with Marion Crane. They change up like what happens with Norman. But as its own entity, it's actually pretty good. It's actually well done. It's well acted. It's extremely well shot. Much like Hannibal, it's an extremely well shot series. Not as cleverly shot as Hannibal, in my opinion, but still pretty well shot, especially for like a TV series. But don't go in if you've never seen Bates Motel, guys. Don't go in expecting the series to be okay. This is Psycho. It's and have it like connect to the films. It's not going to do that. It will not connect to the films. It goes in where the films go this way. It's the Bates Motel, the series, it goes this way. The score in Psycho 3 was actually really good. It's just like, and it could be the fact that the Duke thing really got to me. That and a couple of the acting, some of the acting was a bit off. Especially the leads. The leads were a bit off. In my humble or not so humble opinion, actually. Well, that's my thoughts on the entire Psycho franchise. You want me to go back and talk about the original Psycho? I just think it's an utterly brilliant film. I love it. And it's one of Hitchcock's best, not his best. His best is still Shadow of a Doubt to me. And of course, Hitchcock, the film with Anthony Hopkins, I actually really enjoyed. The TV series music actually it does its own thing. There is some, homages to Bernard Herrmann's music, but I don't think it could have like did that, and like in a six. Like I actually, Kubrick, Ryan, I think you'd like it. I really do. It's if you liked Hannibal, for instance, and you liked, then you probably like Bates Motel. They're the camera were in the same time. They went to Vertigo's your favorite. My favorite is still my favorite. Any Psycho type movie that I'd recommend? That's a good question, actually. You do enjoy Vince Vaughn? Oh, you gotta watch Hannibal series. It's amazing. Well, the black and white is a complete accident, Javed. Hitchcock didn't make the black and white Psycho because he wanted to make a movie in black and white originally. One of the biggest reasons for that, and is because he was shooting Psycho. Production company, guys behind it, the producers and all that stuff. They were not strongly behind Psycho. Exactly, to save money. He had to make it actually with his own crew from his TV series Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Even Vera Miles, one of the stars of the movie Psycho, she was taken from that series as well. He'd used her on the TV series. The crew is a TV crew. Now, some will tell you that it was made because the Hershey's chocolate syrup looks good in black and white, but it's actually the fact that that basically it was cheap to make it. So the studios were wrong. Hitchcock was right. Hitchcock had a serious interest in the psychology behind human sexuality, and he wanted to place that more within it. So he did it in Psycho. He did it in Frenzy, but and he would try to pepper it in wherever he could. It was a big interest of his. I don't know. Franklin did a good job with Psycho too, man. I think that stands right up next to it. Actually, I like American Psycho too because of the horribleness of it. It's super cheesy. But I like the cheesy stuff. Don't Go in the House. It's kind of an explanation for Psycho. Yeah, somebody asked me what's a Psycho-like movie? I don't know if it's a Psycho-like movie. Yeah, I had an infatuation with blondes, Jeb. You'll notice that most of the actresses, pretty much all the actresses that he ever hired were blondes. He had a blonde fetish. Joe Spinell's Maniac. I know it's very different, more gritty and raw and bloody and stuff like that. But there's aspects of that I think work. Is very much taken from Psycho. That stands out as that style of film. And there's other ones. I mean, I like Terrence Stamp, The Collector. It's unfortunately a too little seen film. Actually, yeah, I got Marnie over there. It's okay. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, but I find it's okay. So yeah, black and white works better for a lot of things, Ragman. Oh, I love North by Northwest. When I draw, I use charcoal, and when I look at pictures, I prefer to look at them in black and white. I'll often buy huge comic things showcases and essentials, so that I can see the pencil work better, because the color to me can ruin because then color can be a crutch. It's weird to say now. Look, how old do I sound right now? But color in some cases can be a crutch for. I love black and white, and the same thing with Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who in black and white back in the day, because you got a lot of weight there. North by Northwest it's a classic. It really is. The one that I like, but I think that it's the original is way better when we're talking about Hitchcock. Is I think The Man Who Knew Too Much, the original, is way better than the remake. The remake's good. It's actually set in Morocco of all places, but I just really like the original. That's true. Don't colorize movies that are already in black and white. Please don't do that. Because oh my god, that is a horrible idea. Saboteur, I love Saboteur mug. I like Sabotage too. I like both. I used to get them confused all the time, because the titles are so similar. I like the Third Man. Third Man does not Hitchcock. 39 Steps. I like the 39 Steps. But I think it ends like just a little bit too abruptly. There's just a magic about it. Rope is a great. See, Gus Van Sant remaking Psycho was pretty much a film school experiment. Rope by Hitchcock is very much done almost like a what I would consider film school experiment, where it's done in like a series of long takes, and that type of like forward thinking that Hitchcock used in Rope is not dissimilar to the idea of Gus Van Sant to pretty much do what he did. Christian Bale should do a proper sequel to American Psycho. Well, it all depends. See, American Psycho to me, like watching the film, uh, nothing. He didn't do. He didn't kill anybody. Like I know it's left up to ambiguous, but in my mind, he didn't do. He didn't do it. He didn't do anything. That's why we get to see Jared Leto's character. It's just Jared Leto, right? Jared Leto. I can't. The guy that he supposedly killed at the beginning. Comes up. Turns out he's alive, and the girl sees the book. The secretary sees the book that he's been doodling and like saying stuff in. I always took it, and that's just me personally, that he did not. Thank you. I kind of thought it was. He did not he did not kill anyone, or at least hadn't at that point. A very rare, very like slightly, but I do remember the film. One of the later like you want a slightly psychotype film. Ken Russell did a movie called Crimes of Passion with Anthony Perkins. I like Psycho more, but I do like Maniac. I think it's a wonderful character study, and it's grossly underrated. There is a Psycho too. Christian Bale's not in it, and this is it right here. The Rules of Attraction. This is the real, American Psycho 2. This is the real American Psycho 2. So there is an American Psycho 2. It's called Rules of Attraction, and it's based on a book by that author. Did you like the Elijah Wood one? I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't think anybody can replace Spinell for that. Spinell is just one of those character actors, is incredibly good. American Psycho 2 is Mila Kunis. Yes. However, that has nothing to do with American Psycho. This does. See this character right here by James Van Der Beek? He's the brother of Christian Bale's character from American Psycho. This is the real sequel. An actual book sequel too. But yeah, if you want to like ignore American Psycho 2, just watch this one. He was a good friends with the directors. He was in Godfather. He's he's also in the movie Rocky, by the way. He's Rocky's boss. The guy that has basically run the numbers, protection for him. There, Jeff, right on, Jeff. And rather than be like the evil boss that's trying to keep him down, he actually encourages Rocky to go and live out his dream, which in a lot of cases that's as a person that I'm not like my better half where she was more I guess more cultured and whatnot, but I do consider myself more of a street kid, so yeah, a lot of it's like that. No, Spinell passed away long ago, Brian. Dude, you heard bad about Rules of Attraction is really good. It's extremely well done. Check it out. And it's got a guest commentary. I have not seen Prodigal Son. I've heard about it, Kevin, but I haven't seen it yet. Have a great evening there, Daz. I am. I picked out a movie to watch for tonight. I'm not sure if it's one that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Maybe, but I picked out. I bought for very inexpensive at Walmart. It was a set, 6 discs. I want to see how quickly it takes somebody to guess what this is. So it's a 6 disc movie set. 6 movies. It was $10. It it had it has a very attractive female in most of the films. Well, she's attractive female in all of them, but like one specific actress that kind of comes in to many of the films. It's it's a slow burn of a film. It's not an actiony film. It's a slow burn of a movie. Actually, I'm actually going to talk with the clue in a second, actually. And it used its trailer to hype up the film, and it worked extremely well. Actually, seeing the trailer actually does create suspense for the actual film once you see it. And nobody's guessed it yet. I thought the trailer thing would give it away. Thank you, Mug. Paranormal Activity. I don't have any of them. I picked up the set today. I've seen the first 4. I think I like the first 3. Part 4 was like, but I hear part 5 and part 6 are not the greatest. Ryan, mine is supposed to show up tomorrow. See, I've thought about watching Candyman last night and like the sequel, but I love Edge of Sanity with Jack Hyde, right? The character Jack Hyde. Jack Hyde. Yeah, I don't own Edge of Sanity yet, but see, I don't. I really liked the first Paranormal Activity film, but I was like you when I went in to see Paranormal Activity first. I was along the lines of basically, this is anybody can take a camera and just shoot stuff. That doesn't take skill. They're just shooting stuff. But when you look at the actual making of a film like Paranormal Activity, and the way they work with the film and the dissolves, and the deliberate like kind of pacing and the mythos and the way the first 3 films really fit into one another, it's actually really well done. Deadline. If it's Deadline, I'll be out. I can't remember the film not really well, but and I do believe in the supernatural. So yeah, it does look like somebody, was it Don the Disc or one of those places that like they showed the clue, and then they showed Deadline, and everything that in the clue fits the movie Deadline, which I don't remember very well, but I know I've seen it. So I would, that's a good one for me. It's better than like it being a trauma release that I'm not going to like. No, that makes me seem like I don't like trauma. I do. Yeah. I don't know. Like some people, I think you can still watch it if you don't really believe in paranormal, if you don't believe in the supernatural, because people go and watch like Friday the 13th and The Exorcist and stuff like that, even if they don't believe in like some that in zombie killers. But they're worth checking out. Boredom. I really think that they are. I think that the first one is well done. I don't think it's the best of them. I think like parts 2 and 3 are superior to the first film, in my opinion. But one of the genius things about the film is there is a jump scare that is shown in the trailer of the film, and it actually shows the audience watching it and getting a fright while watching the film. I did watch the sleep paralysis film actually, and I've had that before, so that was terrifying for me. But because in a way, actually, I'm going to get to that. Because that there is that jump scare that the audience is reacting to, every time it goes to a specific spot within, the nightmare's really good. Within the film, there's a bit of like tension that comes within you because you kind of wonder, okay, is this the time when that when that scare happens? So every time because it plays, cyclical in what it does. So you don't know exactly when that is coming. And when it finally comes, it's almost a relief because then you've got that part over with. But you asked, is Paranormal Activity kind of like Blair Witch Project? Is it like the new Blair Witch Project? In the terms of the fact they're both found footage films, sort of, but in the terms of they were both extremely well marketed, public relations wise. That's the key right there. Sometimes studios spend so much time trying to show too much, or to overtly kind of push something, or shine it up or fancy it up, when all it needs to do is just good old fashioned viral, well done marketing to would make it work better. Actually, I did see the Babadook and I actually liked it. Oh, see. I will agree with you there. I'm not a fan of the Blair Witch Project. I should go back and watch it again. It's been a long time. I know I saw it in theater. I wasn't a big fan. I actually liked Blair Witch too. It was super cheesy. Lost art. But marketing is key. And marketing is one of the things that they're losing right now. Babadook, by far and large, I think did use mostly practical effects. And it did it really well. The Blair Witch Project Part 2 actually could have been a genius film if they wouldn't have like swayed. Much like Psycho 3, there's like studios behind like screwing up the Blair Witch Project Part 2 as well. There's a great documentary on it, by the way. But even for what it is, where I so disliked the original Blair Witch Project, and I did, I think if I watched it now, I'm older. My tastes have changed. I do find that that home invasion films scare me a lot more now than used when I was younger, and I do find that I can appreciate a found footage film much better than I could when I was younger. Maybe just my taste changed a bit. Maybe after seeing movies like Creep and Creep 2, by the way, geniusly wonderful found footage films, by the way, if you haven't seen them. Oh, The Stranger still freaks me out. I lived in an area like that. I got to rewatch it, Danuch. I really do. But you didn't think Blood? See, for me it did. But I haven't seen Ills, I guess, since it originally came out. Since it originally came out on VHS here in North America. But it's one I really should rewatch because it is a really good film. It really got to me. And Strangers kind of boring. See, not me. I love The Strangers too. I like them both. But The Strangers was, yeah. It got under my skin. Yeah, the sequel was fun. I mean, like the actors in the sequel were fun. They didn't it didn't take itself so seriously. The artisan release is really good, by the way. If you ever seen it, it came with like I think one of them came with like a Blair Witch like necklace. I think it's got a CD there as well. Now, don't go into Strangers too, Carlito, like expectant strangers. It's a very much a different thing. Yeah, Artisan is out of business, unfortunately. Uh, but uh, but I think of it as an '80s slasher homage, like a love letter to '80s slashers. Boredom, and welcome and come back. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we are getting close to completing our 31 days of horror. Girl on the third floor. CM Punk, is he starring in it, or what's my thoughts on the Purge series? The first one's hilariously bad, but I enjoy it. The rest of the Purge films are action movies, and I enjoy them. I haven't seen the first Purge yet, which I'm kind of interested in seeing. Did I see? Wait a minute, no, I did. I did see the first Purge recently. Sorry, I forgot I did. So yeah, I liked them all, and the series was okay as well. I don't. I'm working on Halloween, and we're not just working till like 4 or 5. I'm working till late p.m. like tonight. Like I work till late. Actually, on my one break at like a shift where I only had a 15-minute break. So I actually are they really? If I could afford it, I would. I can't though. I actually have another movie coming, uh, and it's oh, God, I hope I get it. It's coming from Amazon. It's Black Sheep. Black Sheep is fun. I mean, it's a wear sheep movie. Just take it at that. It's a wear sheep movie. It uses mostly practical effects, and I had fun with it. But yeah, I got to check see if it's even shipped out yet. I have a movie coming that's supposed to be here on Friday, the day after Halloween. And it's a Scream Factory release that's going out of print. And Celtic priests sacrifice babies. Soane. Soane, right? Soane. I pronounce it right? Oh, The Black Sleep. Are you talking about like the one with Tor Johnson and like cheesy fun? If you are still in cheesy fun, but like in different cheesy fun territory. My Halloween plans is pretty much my Vinegar Syndrome stuff should be here by then. So I'm gonna like take one of my Vinegar Syndrome titles. Obviously, I'm gonna be talking to you guys here on Halloween for you guys that are going to be here. I see. I think Lords of Salem is ends a bit of a mess, but compared to like a lot of his other films, I think was really enjoyable. First Purge was weak. It was still good. It was still fun. Tentacles Dream Telecast. I have that one, Ryan. That's a cool one. Guess which one I just said. Do you guys want to know which one I had shipped? Do you want to know ahead of time? You mean Richard Brake? Actually, it was really good. It was only good part about 31. Oh, the Halloween tree. I have that right there, actually. I love that. There's a lot of like the Scream Factory ones I'm probably not going to get. Uh, I'm missing out on getting Garbage Pail Kids. I know it's a sore spot with Brian there, but I didn't get that one, but I do have one coming. You guys want to know what I got coming, or should I wait? I'm such a kid. I can't tell that stuff. I'll wait. What's coming on Friday? Oh, the Devil Rejects. Devil Rejects was extremely well done. Yeah, it was like pretty much everything that worked with his movies, like hitting this, like just this whole. Yeah, we talked about the Psycho sequels. Part two, Really enjoyed part 3. Missed opportunity. Yes, I am Michigan Mug. Because it's fun. Like Anthony Newley. I love Anthony Newley. He's a great actor. 16 in stock for which one? Testicles. Tentacles from Telecast? I think the humor is meant. The humor is intentional. I think that in, like apparently in 3 for Mel, they say that you know, Sid Haig is like very much missing. So they brought Richard Brake in, was it Roxy, his character's name? And Richard Brake, of course, did an amazing job making the first 5 minutes to 31 excellent, and then the movie turns into utter crap in my opinion. He's actually a decent actor, Richard Brake. You know, he played Joe Chill in Batman Begins, right? He's the one that kills Bruce Wayne's parents. There's a lot of horror shorts I don't see until I better have some. Then I get something to cuddle into if I get really scared. Isn't that ridiculous? Like, thank you, Ryan. When you go on there and you see like these movies that were like $23, $24 max, and all of a sudden, I love Satan's Little Helper. That's gonna be in my next year's watch actually. Uh, and all of a sudden, somebody puts it up for like $75. The original Children of the Corn, it's okay. I did a video actually on it. Weren't you here for that one? But I've never been overly big fan of the Children of the Corn, the story. But it is like Javid said, it's slow moving. But it's worth a watch. If you've never seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. It's not the best of the series though. Like you know when you see like the first movie, nothing can touch the first film. Yes, Children of the Corn. And if somebody wanted to remake Children of the Corn again, like yeah, they could easily do it. And I don't think anybody would be upset about it. Just trying to look at it. That's the thing. It's true, Ryan. You're right. When it goes up, when they go like that. It's the first. It's true though. I like the third one better. If it's John Waters, man, I've seen it. I'm a John Waters. I like John Waters. I'm not as big a fan as like Steph is, but I do. And Steph hasn't been around here in a long time. And Michelle, I think she snuck out on us. Ooh, I haven't seen that yet. Polyester's worth checking out, in my opinion. Anyway, if you like John Waters stuff, I mean, if you don't already like John Waters, it's not going to win you over. But if you're already a John Waters fan, then yeah, you'll enjoy it. Here's a, I can see. Then you're gonna like it, Polyester. It's not like it's one of his, it's definitely all his stuff's in camp territory. Uh, see, I wasn't a big fan of the Americanized versions of The Grudge anyway. I like the originals. But a white pumpkin, nice. Have a good evening, Mug. Oh, I love Serum Mom. Serum Mom is really good. I like Pecker too, actually. That's a movie, by the way. Yeah, I like Serum Mom. I thought Serum Mom was cool. I like John Waters, and yeah, I thought Kathleen Turner was great in that film. See, like somebody else likes it. See you, Chuck. I know I'm alone in this, but I really did like Seed of Chucky. I definitely give it another shot. Uh, but I like some weird stuff too. But I do. I like certain aspects. I know some people like hate it. Oh my God, it's horrible. I can't watch Seed of Chucky. So a lot of people feel the same way about Halloween Resurrection. I really don't. Is it a good film? Well, there's like a lot of bad things about Halloween Resurrection, but it's not usually the stuff that people. Oh, dude, let me know how it how the Godzilla set is. How how sturdy the make is. He was in Bride. No, no, no. Was he in Bride? I thought he was in Seed. I thought for sure he was in Seed. Seed is the campier one. No, I think he was in Seed. Seed is pure camp. Don Mancini's Seed of Chucky is the one of the truly campiest horror films that you'll see, and it really like leans into it. Like it totally leans into the camp. Like that's why yeah, because he's the what's it, the paparazzi, right? Yeah, John Ritters is the bad dad. I like them actually. I'm a big fan of Curse. I like Cult, and a lot of people did. One of my opinions of Halloween's 4 and 5. 4 is one of my favorites actually. I've always loved 4. I think that as far as the sequel goes, this is going to piss off some people. I think 4 is even better sequel than 2, and there's no Jamie Lee Curtis, but they set up a girl to take over the role like tremendously well, and I am not talking about Danielle Harris, although she's incredible in the film as well. We get to have 2 lead protagonists in the film. It's extremely well done. The mask is a bit crap at times, that's for sure. But 4 is very well done. 5 I enjoy. 5 is cheesy. There's aspects of it that kind of make you cringe. You get a little bit more of Donald Pleasance, like as he slowly goes insane in ways in part 5. He starts to lose it, and I think Pleasance liked playing that. So overall I like parts 4 and part 5 and parts 5. Part 4 is way better, but part 5 I like that as well. Part 6, I thought the producer's cut was fun, and I had some interesting time with some of the deaths in the theatrical cut, but overall I thought the producer's cut was a better one. H2O I wasn't a big fan of. I actually came out of H2O, like the theater, and I said, I wonder who Michael Myers put in that mask, because I knew it wasn't Michael Myers. I was surprised when people actually thought it was Michael Myers, because you need just one interview with Mustafa Akkad, one interview, and you'll know that H2O is the beheading is not Michael. Just one Akkad interview, and you know that's never going to happen. I actually enjoyed Resurrection for its cheesiness and certain aspects of it, but I think could have been way better. Fangs of the Living Dead, I haven't seen in a long time. It's a good film, from what I remember. That's okay. I'm not a fan of the Rob Zombie films, you know that, but I never say anything against people that do like them. Now, Resurrection actually did retcon H2O. The thing is, and the guys that were making H2O, all except for one person really, Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm guessing she probably knew more than she lets on, knew that was never going to be Michael Myers. Actually, Kevin Williamson helped come up with the idea of how they would get around it not being Michael Myers. That's the thing. We see bad films in a very different light, I think. And that's for me. That's what I think. Fry. The only bad film is a boring film, uh, a film that can't keep your attention, that can't keep your interest. Uh, I don't think there's a bad Ed Wood film because the guy tried. And whether you like his stuff or hate his stuff, Ed Wood was entertaining. Many of his lines in his films, which come off as nonsensical. Hey, Kathy, welcome. Do you have power yet, man? Because last time I saw a message, you didn't have any power. But you remember Ed Wood. Herschel Gordon Lewis, there's a charm to it, an innocent charm, much like in the Nudie Cuties, were innocent charms as opposed to like like more maybe more adult stuff. But I think Herschel Gordon Lewis, a lot of his stuff does have a bit of that innocent charm but it's not all of it's for me. Is obnoxious? I think boring is worse. I mean, like I can get through an obnoxious film, or I can just pass it by. That doesn't matter. But if you can't watch a film, if you literally can't if you can't keep if you got to be looking at your phone, if you're like reading a book, if you just can't do it. Okay, see, checking cameos. And at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, guys, it's all in your perspective. The person in front of the screen watching that movie. What I might find boring or frustrating or obnoxious, you might find to be your favorite film, and vice versa. But what I enjoy is that, like, I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan, right? But we got some major Rob Zombie like Halloween fans on here, and Danuch, Xteen, both major Rob Zombie Halloween fans. That's not really my type of thing, or at least I keep trying to make myself like it, and I still haven't been able to do it yet. But neither one of us is wrong, because we both, well, hopefully got out of it what was meant for us to get out of the film. Now, sometimes you will take you a second or a third time to enjoy a film. It may be at the wrong time. You just may start watching them at the wrong time and rewatch it and like, oh, this is really good. I like this. I like where this is going now. I didn't get it before. First time I went to watch like movies like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, I was like dead set against found footage films. It's crap. Anybody just take a camera. Man, I was so wrong. That was so obnoxious of me to think that oh, that's all it is. It's just taking a camera and just filming stuff. Probably one of the most obnoxious things I've ever said, and one of the most wrong things I've ever said. I won't be the only obnoxious or wrong thing I ever say. I'll make mistakes all the time. That's where you guys got to keep me on point. I love that film. I wasn't big on the remake, though. I really didn't like that much. Most recent film I watched, but I didn't like. That's a really good question, Kathy. I was going to call you Kath. You may not like that. Kathy. I said, you get older. I'm definitely gotten older. That's obvious. I've got older since this channel started. I'm trying to think. I really don't know. I'm sorry. Most recent films that I've watched I've actually kind of enjoyed. There was like a pretty bad Netflix one that I watched recently. Oh, they'll definitely keep continuing those Cloverfield as long as they can make it. 31. I didn't like 31. There's I don't know if that's recent, but it's a slightly recent. 31 is probably one that I read, and I like a lot of Rob Zombie stuff. I really like Sherry Moon Zombie. I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, I didn't like 31. I liked the first 5 minutes, and then I just it was a chore for me to get through it. You just like see, I really liked the Halloween film. Not only did I like it, but when I rewatched it again, I liked it even more. But there's certain movies that I like that a lot of people. I went and saw Captain Marvel in theater twice because I really enjoyed that. And that some people just didn't like it. That's it's just your taste. Back to the, well, then you need to see Leprechaun Origins, and Back to the Woods is going to look like Shakespeare. You just like Captain Marvel? See, I loved Captain Marvel. I really did. There's I'm a Captain Marvel fan already, and so that kind of that helps. And I'm a Skrull fan, and I like the twist. So that was the But that being said, I get why a lot of people like just couldn't get into it. Like the character is very very much an alien character. 8 Films to Die For, unfortunately, is no longer on the go. It stopped a few years back. It was a 8 Films to Die For those that are of the uninitiated that aren't aware. It was a Toronto Film Festival, and afterwards they would put out sets, the 8 Films to Die For sets. They would put out 8 films, and there would be like a ninth film, which would be like an alternate film that would be put into the in the set itself. But unfortunately, I guess the last year or two, it just didn't financially do so well. So it eventually was canceled. I'd always wanted to go to a festival and like to see the 8 Films to Die For, and if that I saw like a Richard Roper, Roger Ebert thing, and I got to read that. Threshold. I heard about that. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I remember when they said that. That's the one. That's the After Dark Film Fest. Is the 8 Films to Die For. It's the same festival. It's for people like for the uninitiated. 8 Films to Die For would eventually come out in sets. They would put them out in box sets, and this is an 8 Films to Die For set right there. You can actually see the films that are in it, and you can see that it was very well put together. I haven't seen Decoder actually. That's one that I don't know a lot about. So I'm not quite sure how good of a movie it is. I would be lying if I. See, I think her idea behind Captain Marvel was to make the character more alien. Even this was a human that was raised was taught by aliens, and her take and this is just my opinion, but her take on Captain Marvel is kind of what Superman probably should have been if they were to go like with a more realistic version of Superman, in that it would be like really different. It would be kind of like it wouldn't be like instantly like super likable or super relatable. It's a person in a real world that's got the powers of a god, and for me, like personally, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Am I breaking up? Oh. Breaking up is hard to do. They did put out like slimline versions of the 8 Films to Die For sets later on, for some of them anyway. I'm not sure if they put them out in slimline versions, but that particular one there, I remember picking it up. I'm a huge Rolf Koninsky fan. You guys know that I talk about there's something out there all the time, which Vinegar Syndrome put out. Make sure you check that out, by the way. But he put out a movie later on called Nightmare Man. and I really enjoyed it. So that's on the Eight Films to Die For. It's got Tiffany Shepis, and you guys, you know how I feel about Tiffany Shepis. It's like, she's awesome. Uh, she doesn't my heart like my better half does. So. Marlboro Street. I got. They're not the only ones I got. I've got a few. I've got over here. Let's see, Frontiers, The Abandoned, Dark Ride, the Hamiltons, which you just mentioned, and Reincarnation on their own. Well, not in the set, but whenever I find one, I try to pick them up. Oh no, they're all separate films. They're all like done by different like directors, and they're all uniquely different. So there's always usually a foreign one. That's a ninth film that's not put in the set. I don't have Captivity actually. Dark Ride I got. Did you not hate Dark Ride? I had fun with Dark Ride. It's a cheesy slasher film. It's a low budget cheesy slasher film. That's what Dark Ride is, and that's what I got out of it anyway. That's me. I haven't. I was going to watch it actually. I really enjoyed the American Horror Project, so I want the time to sit down and watch and like sink in to the American Horror Project. It means a lot to me. The first volume I utterly adored every film of, and I just found myself like just watching all the features, and it's not one that I want to rush or I want to half watch. I want to like take the American Horror Project and put it in, and just like put my phone down and my thing down and not have to worry. Have I ever seen which one? I think I've seen Captivity. I don't remember it well now, but I think yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, but I don't remember it well, to be totally honest with you. Sometimes, hate to say this, but sometimes when you watch as many films at its like as I do, certain things will stick with you, and other ones like just kind of flow into the stream of films. Which means that the good thing about that is that I get to go back and watch films sometimes that I maybe not did not pay enough attention to, or I saw it at the wrong time, or like circumstances made it not so. Elijah Cuthbert's in the yeah, then yes I have, because I know exactly the film you're talking about. I remember her from like Girl Next Door and like 24. She's not too. But it's great in the fact that I can go back and watch films over again and like really like kind of like rediscover them, like get a love for them that I may have not. I've seen Prisoners. I don't think I have seen Prisoners actually. I heard great things about it, and I think I might even have it, but I don't think I've watched it yet. Hey Dungeon, you coming at the end here, dude? Just as my voice is going. But welcome and check it out from the beginning. We had some really good stuff. A lot to talk about Psycho. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the reboot was. Zombies, to be completely honest with you. So if you mention the films, I can actually let you know. But I did not know there was a reboot. The Prison and Clown Guy. That sounds familiar. I gotta get on Letterboxd. Or my thoughts on Psycho 4. Actually, I like Psycho 4, the beginning. I really liked that film. I thought Mick Garris did a great job in directing it, and it wasn't like, and it was a great ending to the Psycho franchise, in my opinion. But is it perfect? No. But is it better than Part 3? Yes. Did I miss Bastard, Lumberjack Man, Dead of Night, Rekill? I think I've seen a couple of those movies. I haven't seen them all. I like Mick Garris as the Stand, actually. It's got Gary Sinise. And I will tell you this right now. Gary Sinise is the man. He is the most Gary Sinise of all Gary Sinises. And it is a damn crime that Criminal Minds Beyond Borders went off the air. Because every week you would get to see Gary Sinise be super badass. And needless to say, I'm a big fan of Gary Sinise. Catholic High School Girls Trouble. That is from the classic Kentucky Fried Movie. I can't say the lines, but I love Catholic High School Girls Trouble. It was a fake trailer done in the Kentucky Fried Movie, and it is hilarious. If you've not seen Kentucky Fried Movie, make sure you check it out. It is really fun, and its skits really hold up. Fistful Yin actually fantastic. Really well done. I gotta watch that. I'm soon. I'm actually trying to not watch anything non-horror until November, but definitely gotta watch that because that's the one I go back to. Like I'm a really big fan of that film. When that came out, I was super excited, and Apollo 13 is okay. It's it wasn't one I really got into, to be honest with you. Even though it's got Gary, but Gary Sinise doesn't get to be Gary Sinise in Apollo 13. So, he's playing somebody else. He's playing an actual like real life person. It's not when Gary Sinise is like, look, he squints and he looks at you and he's like, you know, you don't want to do this. You want to give me that gun because and I know that you're not going to walk out here alive. You gotta be like, it's gotta be that Gary Sinise. That's the Gary Sinise. By the way, even if you don't like Criminal Minds Beyond Borders, check it out. It was really good. Way better than Criminal Minds, in my opinion. And I didn't mind Criminal Minds. I actually liked it. Is that on yet this year? I loved his performance in Of Mice and Men. Him and John Malkovich. That's John Malkovich's movie to like chew the scenery at, like to do really well at. But Gary Sinise did a great job, and was in a way it's a bit of more of a thankless role compared to the more high profile role of Lenny. Bump the I do remember that sort of. I don't know if it's pretentious, but like that's what happened. I mean, well, kind of like it's the right stuff. You've ever seen the right stuff? 80s movie, but going to space and all that. Ever seen The Big Bounce? I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it. I should have picked that up when I saw it. I've seen it in a few places, and I really like that. Oh, Sinise. I'm sorry. I love Gary Busey. He's fantastic. But no, me and my youngest too was a huge Gary Sinise fan. We sat down and watched Criminal Minds Beyond Borders together, and much other Gary Sinise stuff. The only good thing with Wolverine Origins is Gary Sinise. No, Liv Schreiber. We're getting confused now. There we go. Liv Schreiber, who I also really love, by the way. Right Stuff's okay. If you didn't like Apollo 13, you may not like the Right Stuff, but it's decent. I liked it. Examination, right on. I'm more of a fantasy person when it comes to like, well, I like my documentaries to be documentaries. I love Jeff Fahey. I mentioned that early on. Like Jeff Fahey is an incredibly underrated actor. I'm not quite sure what happened in it. Like if there were some issues behind the scenes, or maybe just like pissed off the wrong people. But was an incredibly talented actor that just didn't go where I thought he was going to go, because he started like extremely. I have not seen The Astronaut Farmer, to be honest with you. I'm behind on a lot of films, guys. Snake Eyes is underrated. There, Ransom. I love Ransom, and Snake Eyes. I like Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is underrated. I know a lot of you guys there are thinking, "Hey, I don't like Snake Eyes," but I'm telling you right now, give Snake Eyes another chance. Show Snake Eyes some love. It deserves it. All right, and at almost 90 minutes, and with my voice going, I don't know if you noticed or not, it's kind of cracking. Exactly right. I am Aaron. Before Again, thank you to all my patrons. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. This is a movie library. You guys are the movie club, and you guys rock. You guys have made this incredible. And can you believe we've almost completed 31 days of live horror, which is it's pretty cool. If we can get to all 31, this is it. We've done this together. We've done 31 days of live horror together, and think about that. It's, as far as I know, it's the first, and we all did it together. Have a great evening, guys. It really is time for tea. My voice is going. I'm glad I don't have to work tomorrow. Talk to you later. Hopefully I should be here tomorrow. And if my vinegar cinnamon package comes in, toasted cheese ham sounds good. We will be unboxing the vinegar cinnamon October package right here live on my video as soon as I get it.